The people of Goldman Sachs are among the most productive in the world.
That's Lloyd Blankfein, 2009. That quote is just infamous.
It is. I mean, think about the timing. The whole global economy is in shambles.
Right.
Taxpayers had just bailed out the banks, and here's the CEO of Goldman claiming his bankers, not, nurses or engineers, are the most productive people on the planet.
It takes some serious nerve.
It does. But here's the thing that really gets you. Under our current economic rules, he wasn't technically wrong. And that massive contradiction is what we're unpacking today.
We are doing a deep dive into the value of everything by Mariana Mazzucato.
And this book is, well, it's like a forensic investigation.
It is. It's all about how we lost the ability to tell the difference between makers and takers.
Or, as she puts it, the difference between value creation and value extraction.
Exactly.
So how do we even define value? Because I always thought, well, if someone pays for it, it must have value.
And that's precisely the shift the book talks about. For centuries, you had classical economists like Adam Smith who argued that value determines price.
Meaning the work and materials that go into something give it its worth.
Right, the labor, the production.
Yeah.
But then, sometime in the 20th century, that logic completely flipped.
It became price determines value.
You got it. If
Okay.
it has a price tag, it's valuable. So if you make $1 billion just by, moving money around in a circle, our models say you've created $1 billion of value. You're being productive.
Which brings us to my favorite visual from the book, this idea of the production boundary.
It's such a great metaphor. It's this conceptual fence, right? And inside the fence, you have all the activities that count towards GDP, the productive stuff. Outside is everything else. And where that fence is drawn, it creates some really wild outcomes.
Like with pollution, for instance.
Exactly. If a factory pollutes a river and the government pays a company to clean it, that cleanup actually adds to GDP. It's a surface. But if you spend, say, 10 years raising a child or caring for a sick parent, unpaid.
That's outside the fence. Zero growth.
Zero. But the biggest trick of all was with finance.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting.
Until the 1970s, banking was considered outside the fence. People saw it as just moving existing wealth around. Necessary, sure, but not productive.
So what changed?
Well, through some very intense lobbying and these really complex changes to something called the System of National Accounts, which is a whole rabbit hole we could go down. Finance literally jumped inside the fence.
So suddenly, speculative trading and earning interest got rebranded as creating new wealth. Just like, I don't know, building a car or growing food.
And that is how Lloyd Blankfein could make that claim with a totally straight face. But Mazzucato's whole argument is that this lets value extraction pretend to be value creation.
Okay, let's ground this with a real-world example. The book really goes after the pharmaceutical industry in this concept of rents.
Right. And in economics, rent isn't just for your apartment. It's unearned income you get from controlling something scarce.
Like a patent on a drug.
Precisely.
Blech.
Take the drug Harvoni. For hepatitis C, Gilead priced a 3-month course at $94,500.
And their justification was something they called value-based pricing.
It sounds so logical, doesn't it? But it's a very slippery slope. They didn't price it based on the cost of their R&D or production. No, they priced it based on the cost of not treating the disease.
So based on the cost of needing a liver transplant.
Yes. It's like a lifeguard charging a drowning person $1 million because that's how much they value not drowning.
That's a powerful way to put it.
But the real kicker is the risk. Mazzucato shows that the early high-risk research for these kinds of breakthroughs is often funded by the National Institutes of Health.
So by taxpayers. It's our money.
Our money. So we, the public, take all the risk during that long, slow, dangerous research phase, and then a private company can swoop in for the profit at the end.
We have this story we tell ourselves, don't we? That the private sector is the fast, dynamic cheetah, and the government is the slow, boarding tortoise.
But the data just doesn't back that up. I mean, look at your iPhone.
The ultimate symbol of private sector genius, right?
Well, the design, the integration, absolutely brilliant. But the core technology, the guts of it.
Corn?
The GPS was developed by the U.S. Navy. The internet, that was DARPA, a defense agency. Siri, also DARPA. Even the touchscreen technology came out of CIA-funded research.
So the state was the original venture capitalist.
The entrepreneurial state, as Mazzucato calls it. But here's the problem. Unlike a VC, the taxpayer never got any equity. We socialized all of the risk, but we privatized all the reward.
Because the state is seen as being outside the fence of value creation.
So there's no mechanism for the public to get a return on its investment.
That feels like a massive open loop in our entire economic system. If the taxpayer is the investor of first resort, shouldn't they get some kind of dividend?
It totally redefines the whole game.
So where do we go from here? What's the path forward?
While Mazzucato calls for an economics of hope, we need to stop seeing the government as just a janitor that comes in to clean up market failures. We see it as a market co-creator, an active partner, and we have to get much, much better at separating those rents, just moving money around from actual real production.
It definitely changes how I'm going to look at my next bank statement.
It should.
So here's the challenge for you today. The next time you look at a price tag on a drug, on your phone, even a bank fee, just pause and ask yourself, does this price reflect value that was truly created? Or is this just value being extracted?
Once you start seeing that difference, you really can't unsee it.
Keep questioning the story behind the price. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.